Pokémon. The game you probably grew up with, either playing Red and Green or Pokémon Go, I guess. The game you love because it involves strategy, it's cute, it kills time, or just because this weirdo exists. Let's clarify one thing. Pokémon has a logic. That's it. Wanna catch God? Alright, you can do it for literally $200 and a bit of luck. Wanna buy a bike? Go sell a kidney cause the bike is literally more expensive than an ancient artifact. Seriously, who made this economy? Giovanni? EA? Today we'll study the incredible logic our favorite game has to offer. Let's start with the obvious. Imagine this, it's your 10th birthday and you're eagerly waiting to get your first Pokémon. You choose your starter and now, off you go. Seriously, nobody has to say anything against the fact that a 10-year-old is allowed to explore the world all by himself? Back in my days, my mom wouldn't even let me leave the neighborhood, which is a good thing. If your 10-year-old disappears, it's not like he's having a drink with his classmates and he's coming back till 6. He's probably dead. But anyways, kids are kids, let's talk about mature people, like the well-known evil teams in the games. Like Team Rocket, Team Plasma, and Team Star. That is made of literally high schoolers. At least the other two I mentioned have competent people. And speaking of which, can somebody tell me why the police is doing absolutely nothing about it? Is police really that afraid of Team Star? Or perhaps Team Skull? Oh no, I think the real problem is Team Yell. Surely. Oh yeah, and going back on the kids topic, why the only one that defeats the syndicates is a 10-year-old child? Moving on, let's talk about Poke Centers, the only business in the world that runs solely on good moods and optimism. You walk in with a bird that got struck by lightning 3 times and Nurse Joy is just like, don't worry, I got this. Oh, and by the way, it's free. How are the Poke Centers not in debt by now? Who's paying for everything? Professor Zog Pokefans account? Anyway, I'ma stop yapping about this and continue. I'll start by saying we have multiple Pokemon that are literally on fire. How are the trainers not getting 3rd-degree burns? Speaking of which, Macargo is said to literally be hotter than the sun. Do we just ignore that? Funny enough, that's not even the dumbest thing in this franchise, the backpack. Your character can apparently carry 200 Pokeballs, 400 potions, a bike, I believe a microwave would be on the line if Nintendo allowed it. That's not a backpack at this point, that's a fucking Minecraft inventory. And speaking of things that defy the laws of physics, let's talk about TMs and HMs. Back in the day, you could literally rub a CD onto a turtle's forehead and it suddenly knows how to use Surf. How does that work? Is Blastoise just a disguised DVD player? And don't get me started on HMs, you're telling me my giant flying dragon cannot fly me to the next town over until I defeat some random guy and get a shiny badge? What is the dragon fucking doing? Checking my legal credentials before takeoff?
Sorry boss, no badge, no flight, I don't wanna get pulled over by the fidget police.
And while we are on the topic of HMs, let's look at Cut. You encounter a small pathetic bush blocking a massive highway. Can your character step over it? No. Can you walk around it? Absolutely not, it is an immovable force of nature. But the second your Odysseus is caught, that bush is vaporized into the Shadow Realm. We need to talk about the Pokédex a bit. It is supposedly a database of scientific facts, but it reads like it was written by a toddler after drinking 3 energy drinks. Machamp. According to the Dex, it can punch 1000 times in 2 seconds. If that were true, the sheer friction would ignite the atmosphere and turn the entire Kanto region into a crater! Spoink! This cute little pig has to bounce constantly because if it stops bouncing, its heart stops beating. Just imagine the anxiety of owning a Spoink. Drifloon. It literally kidnaps children by holding their hands and flying away. Why is this allowed near school? Then there's the mystery of evolution. A long time ago, when Charles Darwin was still alive, he made a tiny miscalculation in his theory of evolution. Because we did not have Pokemon back then. In the real world, evolution takes millions of years of adaptation. In Pokemon, your fish glows for 3 seconds and it's suddenly a 20-foot long flying sea dragon. Nice. And what about the logic of how they evolve? Take Diglett for example. It evolves into Dugtrio, which is just 3 Diglets hanging out. Did it reproduce? Did it find 2 friends and form a union? Nobody knows, because Nintendo refuses to let us see below the fucking surface. And then you have Magnemite, which evolves into Magneton by literally just sticking 2 other Magnemites. That's not evolution, that's magnetism. If I glue 3 forks together, I did not create a new species. Nintendo, stop spreading misinformation. Now let's take a look at the breeding logic. The daycare centers are run by elderly couples who apparently look away for 2 seconds and suddenly find an egg. Fair enough, but explain to me how a Wailord, a literal blue whale, and the Skitty, a tiny kitten, can fuck each other. Next we'll talk about the fact that no one needs glasses in the Pokemon world, cause every trainer somehow sees you from 20 feet away. Oh, and if you walk into someone's line of sight, you are legally obligated to fight them. You could be rushing your dying Pikachu to the Poke Center, but if youngster Joey makes eye contact with you, well, you have to stop everything and watch his Rattata use Tail Whip. Finally, let's talk about the NPCs. Like, you could be breaking in someone's home and they'd be like, okay, let me give you a rare candy, why not, you deserve it. But despite the absolute madness, the broken economy, the terrifying wildlife, and the fact that 10-year-olds are running the geopolitical landscape, we still buy every single game, because at the end of the day, who cares about 3rd-degree burns when you can have a fire lizard as your best friend?